Hey guys, Bios and Ramos, and the Miami Dolphins got another win under their belts this season, bringing them up to 7-9 after defeating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20-17 in their Week 17 matchup, closing out their homestand at Hard Rock Stadium, the final home game of the year, bringing their home record to 5-4, technically, but 4-4 at Hard Rock Stadium this year. The one other home win was the one in Madrid, since that was technically a home game. All right, moving on for this Miami Dolphins team. A loss hurts them here in terms of draft capital, like draft standing. But outside of that, it's not a big deal. Also, the Dolphins are going to be playing a potential number 1 seed in the NFL next week in the New England Patriots. More on that towards the end of the video. But let's talk about what happened in this matchup. This Miami Dolphins team shouldn't really have won this matchup against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa was far and behold the better team offensively, but defensively, the Dolphins were way better. So that was a big difference. Defense forced turnovers and really put this team in positions that really limited this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team and really helped the Dolphins come alive and get the big time win here. Let's talk about team stats, then we'll go into the highlight, box score, and then last but not least, the keys to victory and how the Dolphins either did or did not achieve. So first and foremost, team stats here, but Tampa Bay Buccaneers 21 first downs to Miami Dolphins 13. Third down efficiency, 6 of 13 for Tampa Bay, 4 of 12 for Miami, 2 for 2 for Tampa Bay on fourth down efficiency. Let's keep it moving. The Buccaneers had 10 total drives to Dolphins 11, so that shows you the disparity when I talk about the Buccaneers had 380 total yards, Dolphins had almost 300 at 298. Let's keep it moving and talk about red zone made per attempt. Buccaneers were 2 of 3, Dolphins were 1 of 3. Penalties, Buccaneers had 5 penalties for 45 yards, Dolphins had 10 penalties for 77. Turnovers, the Buccaneers committed 3 turnovers, 1 fumble lost, and 2 interceptions thrown. Time of possession, 32 minutes and 6 seconds favoring Tampa Bay, 27 minutes and 54 seconds for the Miami Dolphins. All right, as always, when it comes to doing these highlights, I have to put it out there. I do not own nor have the rights for this footage, so if NFL, YouTube wants to take it off the video and there's a random jump, you know why. Luckily, haven't had too much trouble with that this season. Either way, let's get into the highlight. We'll start off with Todd Bowles looking to put his team in position to win the NFC South for the, I want to say, 4th straight season. Mike McDaniel just coaching along, trying to finish this year out and see what's going to happen in the offseason. Chris Godwin comes down with the first touchdown of the game, but then Quinn Ewers of the Miami Dolphins answered back with a big time pass to Theo Wise Jr. Quinn Ewers is hyped up on that one. Big time throw by him. That was on a 3rd down, and you can tell he was feeling it there after that one. How about this catch by Jason Marshall Jr. coming down with the INT and putting the Dolphins in great position to capitalize with points on the board. Greg Dulcich receiving touchdown. Ewers was loving it. Then Chase McLaughlin gets blocked just before the half by Zeke Biggers, and Mike McDaniel was loving it. Coming out of the half, Baker Mayfield picked off once again by Ashton Davis. He's not happy about it. Dolphins weren't able to really capitalize off of it, but following Bucks possession, Bradley Chubb strip sack, Quentin Bell recovers it. Now, final Bucks drive of the game, Baker connects with Mike Evans to round out the score 17-20. How about this? Quinn Ewers gets his first career win as a starter and threw for 2 touchdowns. So not the worst game, not the best game by Quinn. I'm going to talk about it a little more now when we get into the box score here, but we'll start with Baker Mayfield, 33 of 44 for passing and 346 total yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, sacked 3 times for a loss of 19. Meanwhile, Quinn Ewers, 14 of 22, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, sacked twice for a loss of 19. Baker was playing pretty well. The interceptions killed him. The fumble killed him. Meanwhile, Quinn Ewers didn't commit any turnovers, so big plus, big improvement from last week with the 2 interceptions, and then converted those into touchdowns. Outside of that, not the craziest day passing with 172 yards. But it was heavily leaned on to this rushing attack by the Miami Dolphins. We'll talk about that in a second. Tampa Bay had 53 total yards on the ground, led by Bucky Irving with 9 carries for 19. Following that, 3 carries for 16 by Baker. Rashad White, 2 carries for 10, and Sean Tucker, 2 carries for 8. Meanwhile, Miami Dolphins had 145 yards on the ground, and that was led by Devon Achane, 18 carries for 83 total yards. Jalen Wright, 5 carries for 56 total yards, and he busted out a big 32-yarder, which helped set up that Greg Dulcich. Actually, no, the Dolphins got shut down there and kicked the field goal. Moving on, not too much to mention on the rest of the guys. And then going to receiving, Tampa Bay had 346 receiving yards, led by Jalen McMillan, 7 receptions for 114 total yards. Following him was Chris Godwin Jr. with 7 receptions, 108 total yards, 1 touchdown, longest of 59, which helped set up that Mike Evans touchdown late in the fourth quarter when they desperately needed it. Cade Otton had 4 receptions for 33. Mike Evans had 3 receptions for 31 and a touchdown. Not so much following that. Mega Buka 20 yards, and everyone else was below that. For the Miami Dolphins, Steele Willies Jr., 1 reception for 63 total yards and a touchdown. Greg Dulcich, 5 receptions for 58 total yards and a touchdown. Devon Achane, 3 receptions and 29 yards. And then pretty much 1 reception or less from everyone else following that. But how about this? Quinn Ewers got his first career reception, but it was for a loss of 6 yards. Ball got batted back towards him, came down with it, and went down instantly. Let's talk about fumbles. Baker Mayfield had 2 fumbles. He lost 1 and recovered 1. The one he lost was recovered by Quinton Bell. Meanwhile, Quinn Ewers also fumbled, but I believe the ball went out of bounds or whatnot. Let's talk about the defenses. Cervecchia Dennis had 7 total tackles, 4 solo, and 1 tackle for a loss for the Buccaneers. Following him was Antoine Winfield, 7 total, 2 solo, and then key stats for defense on the Bucs: 1 sack for Yaya Diaby, also with a tackle for a loss and QB hit. Hassan Reddick with a tackle for a loss, same for Chris Braswell. Benjamin Morrison, 1 pass deflection. Logan Hall, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss, and 1 QB hit. Moving on down, Jamel Dean with a pass deflection, and same for Jason Pierre-Paul. For the Miami Dolphins, we can start with Jack Jones, 10 total tackles, 8 solo, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 pass deflection. Jason Marshall Jr., 8 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 tackle for a loss, and 2 pass deflections. Ashton Davis had 2 pass deflections and an interception. And Jason Marshall Jr. also had an interception. Both of those interceptions were returned for 20-plus yards. And then let's keep it moving down. Terrell Dodson, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss. Let's keep it moving. Jordan Brooks, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 pass deflection. Bradley Chubb, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, 2 QB hits. KJ Britt with a QB hit, and same for Zeke Biggers. Moving on down, nothing too crazy in terms of special teams play. But Chase McLaughlin, 1 for 2 on field goals with that blocked one, longest of 33, 2 for 2 on extra points. Meanwhile, Riley Patterson, 2 for 2 on field goals, longest of 31, and then 2 for 2 on extra points. And not going to really go deep into punting or anything like that. Listen, this Miami Dolphins team played relatively well in this matchup. Big kudos to the defense here. Really set up the Dolphins in a good position all throughout this game, forcing turnovers and really making the Buccaneers pay. Really wish the offense would have capitalized a little bit more. You know, the Dolphins had 17 points heading into half, finished with 20 after a field goal in the fourth quarter. And it proved to be the difference because Tampa Bay was able to drive down the field and get that 17th point in their final possession, but could not recover the onside kick. So, all in all, Tampa Bay should have won this game through and through. Just critical mistakes, especially with the turnovers. It really falls on Baker Mayfield, committing all three of the turnovers, 2 interceptions, and a fumble lost. Just tough break for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. But not all bad news because they still have a chance to win the division next week against the Carolina Panthers, and that's a winners take all game. You also have another one, a winner take all game, and that's between Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Baltimore got the win in Green Bay. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh got the loss in Cleveland. So now that one's shaping up to a winner take all game as well. Let's keep moving and talk about keys to victory and how the Dolphins achieved them. First and foremost was to keep things simple for Quinn and, just don't put him in jeopardizing positions. I think the Dolphins did a really good job of that. Obviously, you see no turnovers by Quinn here. Even caught one of the balls that got bad at the line of scrimmage and came back to him. So got his first career reception there. So he played pretty well. I wouldn't say that the stats really embody that in terms of 172 yards passing. But outside of that, I think he played relatively well. The first half was night and day in comparison to the second half. Just feel like they weren't converting as much in the second half. Things were getting stopped on the offensive side of the ball. So things were looking a little scary and unfortunate there for the Dolphins there in the second half offensively. But luckily, the defense really stepped it up, getting a blocked field goal, forcing 2 interceptions, and forcing a fumble there. And that was the biggest thing. Putting pressure on Baker Mayfield defensively was the biggest thing for this Miami Dolphins team. And I think they achieved that relatively well. They got down with 3 sacks. They also came away with 4 QB hits. I would definitely probably tally a couple more QB hits in there for the Dolphins. They definitely got their hands on Baker and made him uncomfortable. He had to rush out of the pocket a good amount of times. 3 carries for 16 total yards. But outside of that, the Dolphins defense played relatively well. Forcing those 3 turnovers was absolutely huge and really big, decisive part of how they won this football game. Last but not least, it was a turnover battle. The Dolphins won the turnover battle 3-0. So big time moment there for this Miami Dolphins team. Now, let's talk about what is to come next week. Miami Dolphins are facing the New England Patriots. And the Patriots are tied to possibly be the number 1 seed with the Denver Broncos. So things could be shaky there. Now, there's also a possibility that Jacksonville could possibly win the number 1 seed with a win and a Patriot loss and a Broncos loss. So expect all 3 of those teams playing in the 4 o'clock window. Dolphins play against the Patriots. Broncos are at home, so they're playing at 4 o'clock. So fully expect those games to be playing at 4 o'clock. Big time decisive moments there for the AFC playoff picture. And the Dolphins have a chance to mess things up for a couple of these teams. Either if they lose, it messes things up for the Denver Broncos and the Jaguars. If they win, it kind of opens the door for either one of those teams. So let's see how things play out. I'm excited to see how this final week of the season goes. I would like to see a big progression by Quinn in this last game, and it really gives us some type of optimism heading into the 2026 season, especially with the doubt of whether or not Tua will be a starting quarterback. Outside of that, not much else to speak on in terms of this game and future forward thinking. Just excited to see what other development we can have across this roster heading into the final week and what it could mean to this Miami Dolphins organization heading into the 2026 season. Outside of that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.